Hey, it's Grace from Hive. In this episode, Hive CEO and co-founder Ian Roberts is sitting down with longtime friend and live music marketing pro Dustin Sugarmore, who is the director of marketing at IMP. IMP is an independent concert promotion and production company that has presented events like Lollapalooza and Merriweather Post Pavilion. Now, let's jump right into the conversation.
It's been fun watching your strategy evolve in Hive over the years and seeing you go from, a pretty newsletter oriented strategy to doing more and more like dedicated show by show event centric emailing. And it's like, how are you thinking about targeting and segmenting? And how are you doing that kind of dedicated marketing right now?
Our general sort of affinity or dedicated marketing is really based on affinity shows and affinity artists. We've been, collecting email addresses for, as long as email marketing's really been a thing. And that list has followed us to a few different email marketing platforms, obviously bringing it to you guys in 2019, apparently. So we have a lot of data is what I'm trying to say here. Most of it can be associated with specific shows. And so we have this, 25-year history of buyer data. We now have 5 venues, but when we started doing that, it was just 930 Club. So we have all this data from the entire time we've been operating Merriweather Post Pavilion, Lincoln Theater, the Anthem, and the Atlantis, and can match up, every show with the buyers. So we put a huge focus on marketing to the affinity segments in that way. With our dedicated emails, you guys now have, I guess you'd call it an AI feature where Hive will suggest affinity shows, similar shows to an artist. So that's been super helpful. So we use that along with our own just ridiculous knowledge in our head that we're all holding in our heads for the past several years, and come up with affinity lists for every show, and use those to target our dedicated emails.
That makes sense. In your own words, how do you think? What have been like the milestones of how that strategy's evolved over time?
Well, I mean, overall, our strategy's evolved a lot. When we first started with Hive, we were sending literally one email a week. It was our weekly Wednesday just announced email. It would go out at 6 p.m. Still does go out at 6 p.m. every Wednesday. But we've added to that strategy since then. And really that was a product of limitations with staffing and technology. And we had a lot of info, but not a lot of time to get it out to people. So we would put it all in one email and send it. And it was very effective. But obviously spreading that love around is a little bit more effective. So as we've grown, as Hive has grown, we've been able to automate some things, use the segmenting that is available in the back end to our advantage. We actually hired a person that's dedicated to our email marketing. Sadie, shout out to Sadie, she's awesome. And now we're able to. Now we send 3 weekly emails to our full list. We send at least one dedicated email every Monday through Friday, every day of the week. Crazy enough, we weren't doing pre-show emails before Hive. Actually, for the first couple of years that we were with Hive, we weren't doing them either. I just didn't have the bandwidth to do it. We would do them for like the big Merriweather shows or Anthem shows, but we couldn't do it for every show. So the small venues that had the most shows we weren't sending pre-show emails. And really that post-pandemic, I think every venue can relate to this. Post-pandemic, we had a major, major problem with drop counts, with attendance dropping off. So, no problem selling the tickets, but then people weren't showing up. Maybe they were sick. Maybe there's so many reasons. I think people are much more apt to not use a ticket that they bought post-pandemic than they were pre-pandemic. And there's a few reasons for that. But we realized that, we need to start sending pre-show emails because part of that was definitely that people had forgotten, especially right as we were reopening when we had these shows that maybe people bought tickets 2 years earlier because they'd been postponed over and over and over again. We were like, we have to be reminding people that they have these tickets. So we started doing pre-show emails for every show. And then not too long ago, you guys developed an automation that made that really easy for us, for our smaller venues. 930 Club, the info doesn't really change a whole lot from show to show. So an automated template is a great fit for a pre-show email for that venue, for our smaller venues. We still do manual pre-show emails for our larger venues, but
because
that
the
info
details
changes.
are changing,
The details change. Sometimes, certain parking lots aren't open for Merriweather, or certain entrances are used in different ways, or whatever. We just need to adjust that info from show to show. But for the smaller venues, we send them out for every show. And we definitely saw a rise in attendance when we started doing that a couple of years ago.
And how you said there's one person focused on email now. How big is the team?
Yeah, there's one person focused on email. How big is the team? Gosh, we're growing by the day. So I think there are 12 of us currently full time. That includes our graphic design team. But 12 of us in the IMP marketing department. So 12 full-time folks. And then a handful of part-time as well. So we're a pretty big team.
What are some of the other specialties or focuses? I assume some paid people. What else?
Yeah, we've got our grassroots marketing manager who handles, all of our street team efforts. Anytime we're doing an activation at one of our venues, they also handle, making sure that venue signage promoting upcoming shows is up to date at all of our rooms. I have a team of 4 graphic designers who do everything from localizing ad mats and creating our ads to venue signage, directional signage, backstage signage. So they kind of work on everything. They just happen to fall under the marketing department. I've got somebody that handles our loyalty program. That's their full-time gig is administrating our Friends with Benefits program. I have 2 associate marketing directors. They kind of manage the day-to-day marketing for each of our venues, Kelly and Rupa. And then we've got a social media manager, Sylvie, who is dedicated to paid and organic socials. I know I'm forgetting a few folks here, but they'll remember.
Big operation.
Yeah, it is. It is.
I'm curious, actually, now that you walked through all that, how do you think about the contribution and the success and results of those different channels, if you will? How do you kind of compare the efficacy of that grassroots, real world marketing with your digital stuff? And I know some of it's easier to measure and some of it's not, but I'm sure some's intuition. But yeah, how do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, a lot of it is intuition with the grassroots stuff. There's no, great way to measure that. But when our street teamers go out and flyer at a show or an event, we'll have them write up a little report and just kind of give us a summary of how that went. Cool. Was anybody interested? Did they respond? Did they throw it back in your face? Whatever that might be. So that way we can get an idea of, are we targeting our street team properly? When we're putting stuff out on the street, posters on telephone poles and stuff like that, we use QR codes, which obviously not everyone that views and consumes the poster is going to use the QR code, but it does give us some measurement of efficacy there too. And then when we're, tabling at our own events for somebody else's event, our part-time staff that's actually on site doing that also writes up a report. They'll, tally up the number of Friends with Benefits members that came by the table, or tally up the number of contest entries that we got. So we can kind of see how engaged people are at our events as well.
Where do you like to drive those QR codes? Are you driving people to opt in to your lists, or?
I mean, it depends on what the use is for it. But yeah, when we're at one of our venues and we're doing a ticket giveaway for an upcoming show, we'll have them opt in. We send it to a Google form basically where they can enter the contest and then they can opt in from there.
I would love to dig a little bit into how SMS has been evolving for you guys. I know it's a newer channel.
It is a newer channel for us for sure. It's been slow but steady growth, and to be perfectly frank, we haven't put a huge emphasis on it. It's been secondary in a lot of ways. That's going to change in 2026. We need to step that up because that's what all the kids are using these days, right? The texting. Email has its place, obviously, but SMS definitely fills in some of those gaps. So we actually launched SMS about a year ago with our loyalty program first, and had a decent amount of signups. We did find that it seems like the younger folks that are part of our loyalty program were quicker to sign up for SMS, and perhaps the older folks weren't. And so that's great. Now we have 2 ways to reach these people. And then we just kind of started rolling it out a couple of months ago to our, to the public, to our full audience, if you will. Like I said, it's been slow, but that's on us. I just haven't dialed into it too much yet. But what we found is, offering incentives like pre-sale codes or exclusive giveaways that are only available if you're on our SMS list. Those have been the things that really drive signups.
I think that's a great way to start, though, like focusing on the people who are highly engaged and like to attend lots of shows, the high value fans, and offering some sort of incentive or value out of being in that list. I think that's a great strategy. And ultimately, not everyone's going to respond well to that channel. So might be onto something more than you know. Definitely opening that up to more of the audience and letting them self-select. And I think we'll help you just drive more value there.
Yeah, for sure. I'm looking forward to expanding on that soon.
What other kind of channels or like arbitrage opportunities are you guys seeing right now? Are there certain things on the paid side that you've been experimenting with that are really interesting or cool?
Connected television is pretty big right now. Obviously, everybody's on Hulu or Netflix or what have you. So we've been doing some of that. YouTube is huge, and so we've been doing some YouTube. Obviously, Meta is still Meta, so we find that our audiences respond more on Instagram than Facebook. But we're still pretty heavy on those too. And, programmatic ads work well for us as well. So
is that TV stuff programmatic? Like,
yeah.
How do you deploy that?
So we're working with one of our media partners on it, but it is programmatic, and we buy it as a package. So it's more of these streaming services than I even knew existed in one package, to be honest with you.
Another topic I would love to throw on the table is just, to what degree are you guys incorporating AI? In what ways are you starting to automate stuff? Where do you think that is being effective, and where is it bullshit and noise?
Here's the thing. Obviously, we want to be productive marketers, but we're also all creative types working in a creative field.
Totally. Yeah.
Marketing creatives, there's a push and pull there. Like, AI is not, in general, widely accepted in the creative community, and I totally get that. It shouldn't be. You don't want M
dashes in all your emails.
Yeah, right. Yeah, right. You can look at our emails and see that humans are still writing them, and that's really important to us. It's funny, during the pandemic, actually, I'll go back to that, when AI was kind of first becoming available to anybody who wanted to try it out. We were still, writing emails every week and sending them out, even if we didn't have shows. We were just trying to do anything we could to keep people engaged. And as a joke, not even as a joke, just to see how this would go, I don't remember if it was ChatGPT or another one, but I had them basically write our whole email, like write blurbs about a couple of different shows. This was 5 years ago, but it was so bad. And I'm sure that was partly because of my prompting, and I didn't know what I was doing with it either. I was just playing around with it. We obviously didn't send that out, but it was so bad that it really turned me off to it as far as a writing tool. I'm sure that it's much better now. I'm worried about offending AI.
It's not listening, don't worry.
Right. Yeah, right. It's listening anyway. But no, we use it in, as a tool in some ways. Yeah. If somebody on our team is trying to get an idea across to, let's say, to our art team, something they need created, but they're having a hard time verbalizing it, you play around with the prompts and see if you can get ChatGPT to create something that's sort of similar-ish to what you're looking for the final product to be. So we've done that a couple of times, but I don't know. I like the old school ways a lot better personally, but I'm gonna have to get used to this at some point. So, and I think you guys are one of the best at the editorializing, and maybe you want to talk a bit about how you guys do some of your emails. But I know Sadie's great at it. We have a whole team of little team of people that write our emails. She leads the charge there. But we've been doing it this way for a long time. Anytime we announce a show, we'll put a little paragraph about the artist and the show and why we're excited about it. We have a pretty specific voice. It's like part music nerd, part older brother, part too cool for school. And we'll write a blurb or so about the upcoming show. Try to get people excited about it, but also educate them about the artist if they're not familiar. And, obviously some artists are household names, some are brand new to the scene. And so we find that balance in there and make sure we're not, over explaining the Foo Fighters to people or under explaining, somber. We find that middle ground. But it's Sadie is very organized and leads that charge. Gets our whole marketing team on board to write these paragraphs each week. So everybody writes one or two, and I edit them all together on Tuesday evenings and or Wednesday afternoons, depending on how my week's going. And we send them out. So I'm looking now. I'm like, oh gosh, our email's going out in an hour and 20, and I haven't put eyes on it yet, but we got time.
It is Wednesday afternoon. But I hear you, and that resonates. And I don't know. I think we see it largely the same, and in the lines of like how we're trying to incorporate AI into the product, and like we want it to be there as a tool that can help to support and make the things that are repetitive and monotonous more efficient. But then like lift the team up to focus on where they can express that creativity and be strategic. And so like, I think, targeting is a good example of like, can we do some of the heavy lifting of like recommending artists that you could be putting into an affinity segment, but then like let the human come in and do the curation and really drive it across the line. So
yeah. And the biggest pushback I think in general against AI is that it's going to take jobs away from people. But the way that, that Hive is utilizing it is not doing that, obviously.
No.
And it really truly is a tool, and it's a way to get us started, and then us humans finish the job. So
yeah. And I think what we would love to see is that it just helps your team do more and more, right? And helps to continue along that path and going from only doing newsletters to like now doing those dedicated blasts and know before you goes or pre-show emails and more and more and more, because I'm sure there's other ways that you can drive value to your fans and help them find the shows that they don't know are coming that they should be at. So I think that there's still tons of creativity and strategy to express.
No, I totally agree. Those automations have freed up Sadie and the rest of our marketing team really to focus more on creatively actually marketing our shows instead of all of the little details behind the scenes.
That is great to hear. What are you looking forward to as we kind of move into 2026?
Well, I mean, in the workspace, we're hoping to bring back HF Festival in 2026. I hope I'm not saying anything I shouldn't there. We revived an old school radio festival last year in DC, and it went really, really well. So we're hoping to bring that back next year. Let's see, we're celebrating our 45th anniversary of 930 Club this year, and there's already conversations about what we're going to do for the 50th. My whole life is music related, whether I'm going to a show at our venues or another venue. So I've got a list of 50 or 60 shows in the next couple of months that I'm excited about.
Well, I also got to ask, what do you wish we would do? How could we make your lives easier?
Oh man, you guys always make our lives easier. Every call I have with Melissa every month, she's telling us about a new feature that is awesome and exciting that's making our lives easier.
Melissa is great.
As minor as it might seem to some people, it's always a positive update. So I'm just looking forward to seeing you guys continue to innovate and make event marketing easy. Keep making event marketing easy. When we, I'm just gonna love on Hive for a moment here. When we came over to Hive in 2026, we were moving from another email platform that just wasn't really working for us. The customer service, far from good. Their platform was really difficult to use, and we had been with them for a long time, and we just needed to come into the future. And at the time, I don't even think you guys were necessarily event marketing, music event based. I felt like that evolved in the first year or so that we were there. But, I was just looking for a platform that with people that understood what we were doing and wanted to see us do our best. And we weren't just writing another check to a company. And so, speaking with you guys back in 2019, it was very, very, like you were joking that it was love at first sight, but it really was an easy decision back then. And I am so, so, so glad we did it. You know this already, but I sing your praises everywhere I go. And I tell all of my, independent event people that we love Hive, and you're not paying me to say that. So no, I mean, it's genuine.
We appreciate
really great.
it.
It's a really great platform, and it's made our lives as event marketers So much easier.
Really nice to hear, and we appreciate the partnership. You guys certainly pushed us a lot in the early days, like on the scale side, on the functionality side, and there's lots of little features in there that are directly on the back of good insights and requests from you guys. So
well, and I feel that. I mean, it feels like this platform that we kind of helped grow. It feels like there's aspects of it that were created not for us, but created, to make our lives easier. And I know that it makes everybody else's work easier too.
I mean, some of it literally was for you. I know.
Yeah, I know.
I think the team worked hand in hand with Sadie on that. Like, some
we
of that
segment wheels
automation stuff, and we don't get it that way. But
no, I know.
But yeah, we appreciate it. So thank you.
Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this episode, subscribe to Hive for more backstage conversations with the people shaping event marketing. To explore our super awesome marketing platform, book a demo using the link in the description.